Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirit. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you once again for tuning in this week. You're set for a wonderful show this episode because we're going to be talking about scrying. Also in the show this week we have the channeling coming in from spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for them to communicate through. So I go into trance whilst they're doing this. Also later on in the show, we have your weekly energy forecast reading, which hopefully will help you navigate your way through the course of this week. So then, let's crack on, shall we, with today's subject matter, which is, of course, scrying. So first of all, what is scrying? Well, it is seeing beyond the veil. It's using tools, reflective objects, low-level lighting. It's having that intention and it's connecting to the other side, the spirit world, in order to either for them to come through and manifest themselves, overlay themselves over the object, or if it's in the case of a mirror, over your reflection, or we can use scrying in order to see into the future or into the past in any direction in time in order to bring information through. Now, what is interesting, I find, about scrying is there's a procedure when I've done it before that has to be adhered to in order to get a successful scrying message or experience and in a safe environment. And one of these things that I always recommend to do first is protection. And now this is important because you're tapping into the world of energy, the world of spirit, and without protection you could be exposed to lower based vibrations. So it kind of all depends on how you've been interacting within your life, you know, how you're feeling at that point in time when you are scrying, because there is that potential, if you've had particularly low vibrational day, that you could actually attract low vibrational energy and frequencies. So with this being the case, setting a good protection around your energy and asking for that to be done from the higher beings, that would be paramount. Another thing as well, before you do scrying, prepare the environment in which you're going to be doing this. So in other words, such as if you're doing it in a room or whatever, you want to make sure that that energy within that room is pure and is of a heightened vibration, because there could have been quite a lot of activities within that room that's occurred throughout that day. So basically, ideally, you're wanting to smudge and clear the energy of the room. Now, when I use the term smudging, I'm referring to using white sage, and you light the sage and you let the smoke bellow around that environment. And with intention, you ask for clearing, for love and light and healing to enter that environment as you're saging. Don't just light the smudging stick and just think, well, that's it, it's done. No, you have to add your purest intentions, what you're wanting to occur. So in this occasion, you're wanting, like I say, that room to be pure and clear and cleaned. Once you've done that as well, I mean, what you can do to prepare the room is play high vibrational music. So, you know, such as high energy music that's of a lighter vibration. I mean, something that I like is there's some spiritual music or meditation music, something nice and soft and gentle in that respect, and that will heighten the vibrations in that room, which it will in turn give you that energy in order to scry at a more successful rate there as well. Once you've done that and you're ready to scry, basically you're wanting to select your scrying object. Now, what objects can be used with scrying? Well, what I've used in the past I've used a number of things, reflective objects, basically. I've used, ideally, I use a crystal ball. I find the energy that you create and you place into the crystal ball also helps the experience. It amplifies the experience. But you can use a crystal ball. You can use a reflective object. You can use a mirror if you want to. You can use a pane of glass, or you can even use a bowl of water if you want to as well. And one of the most unusual things I've used is a reflective black album sleeve. And now I'm a big rock fan, as you probably know. I use the Metallica Black Album. And actually, I'm laughing now, but it does work. Again, it all goes back to intention, which we'll talk about in a minute. So you want to select the tool that you're going to use for scrying. And once you've selected that tool, then you can go about setting those intentions. So intentions, what you're doing there is you're setting clear boundaries, what you will and what you won't accept in the scrying session. Now, with this in mind, you want to ask for the highest beings. You want to ask for the highest vibrational energy to come through that object that you're going to be using for scrying there. If you are using this in conjunction with doing a reading for somebody, then you're wanting to ask that information to come through for that client in the form of scrying in the reflective object that you're using. So setting those clear intentions, very precise intentions and boundaries. Again, outlining what you're willing and what you're not willing to accept, with more focus on what you're willing to accept. Once you've done that, that will set the scene ready for you to go into the scrying state of mind. Now, getting into that state of mind, basically you want to have the room, like I say, sorted. So ideally, you're looking at low-level lighting or a comfortable environment where it's not too overpowering with the lighting in there. And you're wanting a quiet environment as well. And obviously, good intentions whilst you're doing this. But what I would recommend is that you don't do this alone. Ideally, if you could do this in the form of with a few friends, like a development circle, that is the ideal place to do this, because you do need somebody to watch over you whilst you're doing this form of spirit work. The next thing you want to do is you want to be aware of what I call the baseline check. Now, the baseline, I'm referring to how you feel in yourself at that moment, both emotionally, both physically, what thoughts are going around your mind in that moment in time. And when you've made those observations, then you'll realize that anything above what you're feeling, what you're seeing in your mind, the thoughts, what you're sensing emotionally, what you're feeling in the sense of touch, anything above what you've just established as your baseline will actually be information coming in from the world of spirit. So it's good to have that set before you start doing any work there. Now, what you want to do from that moment is when you go into scrying, you need really good observational skills. And so you're wanting to just relax your breathing. You're wanting to clear your thoughts in your mind. A good technique is to focus on your breathing and count down in your head. And with you focusing on the numbers there as you're counting, that will take your focus off of the thoughts that are passing through. So once you've done that, then what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to just gaze into the object, whatever object that you've chosen, and just relax your vision, almost look beyond the object and just be aware of any moving shapes, any different colors. You may even see shapes forming into objects, into things. And just allow it to be. Just relax, allow it to be, and just call out what you're seeing to the people that are around you in the circle, that are watching over you. Call out what you're seeing and describe it with as much detail as possible. Okay, and now keep doing that as well. And you'll find that you'll start to see little visions in there. You may see symbolisms, which is up to you to interpret for your client or for whatever intention you've set. But dive deep with the symbolisms that you are being shown from the world of spirit, because there will be additional content and information in that the more you dive deep. Now, I say dive deep. I'll just explain what I mean by that. I'm talking about you're switching between your spiritual mind, so the part of your mind that is accepting this experience, that is observing this experience, the different shapes, the different symbolisms, and you're switching between that part of the mind into your, shall we say, intellectual part of the mind, where you can analyze what you're seeing and dive deeper. So, for instance, if you was to see the image of a dog, in your intellectual mind, you'd think, right, well, what sort of dog is that? Okay, and you think, well, why have I seen a dog? What do they relate a dog to? They say a dog is a man's best friend. So we've got that in there. Dog has 4 legs. So we've got the number 4. What colour was the dog? That colour will have a message. It will have a meaning as well. What are the mannerisms of that dog in the symbolism that you saw there, scrying? That could indicate the emotions of who you're basing this information on as well. So you see, in the intellectual mind, we need to keep asking these questions and diving deep, and then we'll get some very accurate answers once we start doing that. Whereas if we were just to say exactly what we are seeing, like I've seen a dog, I mean, that might not mean anything to anybody. So you've got to have that inquiring mind in order to extract as much information from this process of scrying in the form of getting information for people. But also, with this in mind as well, you want to have, it is very subtle. So you want to have that patience. Don't think that it's just going to happen straight away. You want to sit there. You need to align your frequencies with the frequency of spirit, and also of the task that you've set as well. So you're wanting to have that patience and observational skills whilst you're doing this. Once you've got your information there, obviously what I would recommend is that you vocalize what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, and your interpretation of it as well to your client, to the person that you're with, there and then, because it will be very fleeting and it will happen very quickly, and you will forget the information because you're basically a transmitter and receiver for spirit, using the object that you've chosen to do this scrying. So it will come and it will go very quickly. So just allow that energy to flow and go with the experience. Now, the beauty of doing this as well is that under the right conditions, you can get a lot of evidential, hopeful information that will give your client a lot of courage, will give them that confidence that they need, and also it will give you your confidence in your mediumship. So it's something that that needs to be done correctly with all of the procedures that I've described. And ideally, don't do this on your own. You need to have people around you as you're doing it, like-minded individuals ideally, because you're wanting to keep that vibration, that energy at a high rate, so that this information, sensitive information from the world of spirit, can be projected onto your object that you are using for scrying. But with this in mind, at the end of the session, you want to thank spirit, you want to thank those communicators that have brought that energy through onto that object of your choice for scrying. That is important, okay? So don't forget to do that. And then you're wanting to close the session down. Again, this is very important when you're doing scrying. So what I recommend is like a prayer state of gratitude, showing thanks for those communicators, that information that came through, the object of your choice for scrying. What you're then wanting to do, obviously you can put this into your own wording, but the general rule of thumb really is you're wanting to clear that energy from that object that you're using, cut all those energetic cords of attachment from it. You're also wanting to bless and clear and cleanse everybody in that room of any of the energy, and also bless and clear the room itself as well, and then show that level of love and gratitude. And usually I use terms at the end of a prayer like, I ask all this in your name, which is perfect, unconditional love, infinite love and gratitude. And then I put an amen at the end there. And that, I find, seals it, and it keeps everybody protected. It cleanses the room, and you're showing that level of respect there for the world of spirit, so that when you are ready to set another session, you can do it again in the knowledge that everything's going to be clear, everything's safe. But that's not to say that you're not to clear the room and prepare the room. I'd certainly recommend doing that every session, simply because it sets the intention for the exercise. It heightens the vibrations of the room, of the scrying object, and all of those individuals that will be in the circle with you. So it is important to keep that vibration level up high. And in many respects, if you are feeling that the vibration is lowering during the session, then I would certainly recommend singing between yourself and the others in that circle. Again, something high vibrational, something jolly, or you could even hum. That will get those frequencies up again, and you'll notice that that connection will be strengthened as you do that. So that's a little bit about scrying, but what I'd like to do is give you a few examples where I've used it, if you don't mind me doing this. Now, I've seen it and witnessed it on many paranormal investigations. Now you're saying, well, how do people do that in paranormal investigations? Well, I want to say that spirit will take the path of least resistance in order to present themselves or bring forward some information for you as a paranormal investigator. And in my experience, I've found that spirit like to use reflective objects in order to try and manifest. And they've used windows, panes of glass within the building, mirrors as well. They've used those, and any reflective steel objects within the buildings. And it's amazing what you can capture on just using a phone and just taking random snaps with intention, with the intention of capturing some spirit beings or people of that respect on photographic evidence. And so that's what I did. I was at, I believe it was the Newsham Park Hospital in Liverpool a few years ago. I was in the main hall there just taking random photos, and I was particularly drawn to the windows in the main hall. So I just took photographs of all the windows. And it was only upon later on in that evening where what I personally do is I zoom into every inch of the photo, and I look for any sort of abnormalities or anything that brings up the hairs on the back of my neck, so to speak. And upon doing that, in a few of the reflective panels, shall I say, glass panels, I could see faces. I could see spirit faces. Some were men, some were females, some were children in there. Even animals were being shown in these reflective surfaces. Now, obviously, at first glance, when you look at the photo, you think, oh yeah, it's just a window. But it's only upon zooming in and looking at the depth and detail within those glass panels that I could see these faces. So it pays you to be very observant, because spirit, like I say, will take any opportunity, usually the path of least resistance, which would be a window pane, and in order to manifest themselves. And so that was an amazing capture that I got there in Liverpool. I've also experienced things in Derbyshire on an investigation as well, where I've seen, again, faces being displayed in windows. Again, the same technique was employed, where I just go round. I have a walkthrough, usually before the investigation starts, and I just take random photos, whatever I'm drawn to, energetically. And it's only upon later on when I'm going through the photos and I zoom in, like I say, that I start to witness some of these abnormalities that are showing up. And yes, there's been some very colourful characters that have been shown in windows. I've also seen on the other side of that, you do see some negative energy trapped within that building on the reflective surfaces. For example, I've seen quite a lot of skull-like faces and what you may describe as lower bass frequency entities, their faces on the glass panels there. But it's been very interesting nevertheless. I felt comfortable in that because obviously before I go on any investigations, I always put that protection up. I always set those intentions. So I was very safe in taking those photographs. But yeah, so I've experienced that. Also in Nottingham, I've experienced it as well on various locations there. And one in particular that I found really interesting was I was at a big stately home in Nottingham. And again, doing the same thing, taking photos before the investigation started. And I took photos of mirrors and, obviously making sure I wasn't in shot. So I took the photos sidewards on, so I wasn't actually reflecting in the mirror, should I say. And this particular location in Nottingham, what was interesting is I took these random photos of different rooms, and on the wall in one of the rooms there was some photographs of some of the old residents there going back to the late 1800s, and there was some very very colourful characters as you would expect in that time frame there as well. So anyway, I remember taking these photos. Later on, when we was having a break in the investigation, I thought I'd have a look through these photographs. And upon, again, zooming in into the picture of the mirror in particular, I could see a gentleman from the world of spirit, his reflection showing up in the mirror. Now, this face that I was seeing in the mirror looked very familiar. Obviously, it wasn't my own because, as I say, I was off camera, so my reflection wasn't there in the mirror there. But no, the face that I saw in the mirror was the face of a gentleman that I took a photo of who had his picture on the wall earlier. One of the past occupants of that building going back to the late 1800s. Well, this same gentleman had a very distinctive mustache and facial hair and features, basically, very distinctive indeed. And so anyway, I pulled the picture up that I took of the photograph of him a little bit earlier that evening. And I did a comparison check to the image that I saw manifesting in the mirror. And the similarities were jaw-dropping. It was literally the same person, with the same facial hair, the same mannerisms, scowling a little bit more in the apparition in the mirror. Obviously, probably wondering what we're doing in his property, taking all of these photographs. But for me, that was an amazing capture to get that. And obviously he was a very prominent man within the household at one time in that building, because later on one of the other guests on the paranormal investigation took a photo of me whilst I had my eyes closed and I was just zoned out in the dark and just seeing what I could pick up on as a spiritual medium. Anyway, this guest took this photograph, and later on she showed it me and said, it was ever so funny when I took that photograph of you. And I said, okay, why? She says, look, I'll show you. And she got the photograph out on her mobile device. She says, look, you've got a mustache, sideburns, and like a beard on top of your face. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right. There is. And the mustache, the sideburns, the beard were almost the same style as the prominent figure of the spirit gentleman who used to reside in that home there, who I'd already captured in the reflection of the mirror. I'd already captured on the photograph on the wall of this gentleman. And so that occurred 3 times. So to me, that was amazing evidence to have the opportunity of capturing that. And for somebody else in the group to witness that as well. So I felt really blessed on that investigation. So my point being is that scrying can be used in other ways. Spirit will use the path of least resistance in order to make their presence known or seen. And so just pay attention to reflective objects when you're out and about, even within your home as well, because they will take that opportunity in order to do that. Another thing that they may do, when you've got your TV turned off and you've got the black screen there, just have a look at that, relax your vision, have a look into that, and just notice any movement that's occurring. Even when everything is still, look into that and notice the movement. 9 times out of 10, it will be either a spirit or a communicator wanting to be known to you. Now, obviously, when they do come through, don't show that level of fear. Just show that level of gratitude, because they've taken a great deal of energy in order to come through in this manner. And when you understand the effort that goes behind them doing that, you respect it a lot more. And so there's no need to worry or be fearful of this experience. It's a beautiful encounter, full of evidence and full of high vibrational energy. Once you, again, set your stall out, have these intentions, set the protection there, and have that respect for gratitude there, you'll have a wonderful experience doing scrying, whether it's in the form of a reading or whether it's in the form of actually witnessing spirit in this fashion as well. Now, the tools that you can use for scrying vary. I would say any reflective object would be able to be used. I mean, ideally, the number one tool would be a crystal ball, and that you've cleared and you'd cleansed and you'd healed that crystal ball before you use it. A mirror you can use that, and you can see spirit overlaying their image over the top of your face. Again, in low level lighting, this works best. And also setting those intentions first and doing the procedures I've described earlier. You can use a black reflective surface like I described. I used an album cover when I did it once in class. Windows, and also water. If you've got a bowl of water, again in low level lighting, you can use that for scrying as well. So I hope you found that interesting today, and be safe. Follow the procedures if you are going to do it that I have described in this episode. Well, now we're moving into the next segment of the show, which is the weekly channeling, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to communicate their wisdom through. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's channeled session.
Oh, what a pleasure it is to come through for you today. I'd like to talk about your emotions and how you're feeling in every part of your cell, of your fiber, of your physicality, within your body and your spirit being, your eternal soul. Most of you will notice a distinct shift in your emotional changes and feelings that you are going through. You will notice that you will feel the hurts and the discomfort of what's going on around you in your communities and also in the vaster scale of the universe. Some of these emotions will be quite concerning to you, as they will make you feel rather down in your vibration. We assure you that this is not your vibration that you are feeling, but that of those around you. And we wanted to bring this to your attention more so now than ever, as it is an imperative part of your daily responsibilities in order for you to function correctly at the highest of vibrations. We would like you to recognize the need to protect your vibration, asking with intention for your sacred energy to be protected, your sensitivity to be reined in slightly as you go through these rather unusual times in your earth and universal history. Your emotions, after all, are an amazing tool for you to use to help you navigate your way through your soul's mission on this earth plane. So in order to keep you aligned and connected to it, you must protect it wisely. Now with your emotions, you will notice there will be times where you'll feel very elated, very full of energy, very excitable. And there will be times yet where you feel rather antisocial. You won't want to involve yourself with your community. You want to take a back seat and sit in the comfort of your own surroundings, because that's where your energy feels more, shall we say, protected, more safe and more comfortable, and you feel more at one with your soul. We wish you to continue to mingle with your society and your community, as there's a lot of energy coming through you as a light worker. Just your mere presence in that environment will uplift all those souls, all those people, and the thought patterns, and remove all the old belief systems that they seem to be harboring and carrying through. You see, the energy will find a way to work through you. But we must ensure that you take the time back for yourself in order for you to rest, recuperate and rejuvenate your vibration, in order for you to be the best version of yourself. So the energies are high. The energies are changing currently as you are in your end stages of 2022. And so with this being the case, we would like to advise you to pay close attention to all of your emotional feelings, as they will be changing for the better. The old version of you, the old narrative, the old belief system is now going to be let go of, in order for you to shine brightly and to interact on a high vibrational frequency, for you to ascend and help the new timeline of humanity within this universal plane moving into 2023. So it's important that you do this in order to be part of the collective consciousness mass awakening. We hope you don't mind us coming through in this fashion and bringing forward this information. We find it interesting. We find that you will find it interesting, and it will make sense of what you're feeling. Now, you will be aware that there will be lots of thoughts coming up in your mind, and lots of emotions coming up to the surface. Now, for some of you, this will come as a shock, and it will overwhelm you and make you feel uncomfortable, as we've previously mentioned. But we want to encourage you to just allow these energies to pass through you, allow them to be, because these energies were never meant to be harbored or held onto by your soul. Simply lessons that you have learned are now. It is now the time for you to release these lessons and vibrations in terms of energy frequency, so that you can be a greater, lighter being and work with this beautiful energy. We hope this information finds you well, and we'd like to pass you over to our next communicator, so that they can continue to bring forward some additional information that will help you in this time. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for your patience. Take care and God bless. There's a lot of laughter that needs to come through to you all. And with laughter, it raises your vibration. As we've mentioned several times when we've been coming through, laughter is the greatest medicine. And you'll be finding yourself drawn to people that heighten your vibration, that make you laugh, that make you feel comfortable and special within yourself. These people will be magnetized towards you. You will be magnetized towards them, and a great awakening will occur as a result of this. Now, the comedic, shall we say, content that comes through will be very quick, very on the nose, and very observational humor, and this will also align you in your now moments as well, because it will be very fleeting comedy, and it will come and it will go, but the
healing energy that it brings into that now moment consciousness will be just the tonic that is needed in order to help all those, including yourself, raise your consciousness. So, we have many other things to talk about, one of them being music and listening to more music. Some of you may find that, well, in your society, a lot of you are, I believe the term is streaming your music. You're listening it, it's coming in. You're not owning, you're not taking any ownership of the music. You're just allowing it to come in through your electronic device. Well, that's fine. The content is still the same, but you will find yourself being drawn to physical items of audibles, such as CDs, LP vinyls, and things of that nature, because unfortunately there's going to be a period of time, it won't last forever, but there's going to be a mass awakening and a shift in the technology in which that you're using. At the moment, a lot of you do rely on the internet, and you rely upon it for more or less everything in your life. Well, with everything that's been going on, underhand behavior, shall we say, using the internet and wielding it in order to propel propaganda and mistruths, then what we're proposing is going to occur is that it's going to be incrementally taken out so that the essence, the truth vibrations can come through, and this peddling of the lies can stop, and we can make it stop, and we will do. It will be changing, and you'll notice this coming in your year of 2023. It will cause a few confusions to quite a few people because, like we say, most of you rely upon the internet for your work, for your pleasure, for your entertainment, for your news, a number of things. So it will cause a bit of confusion, but we assure you that it's not going to last forever. It will be up and running again. Only this time there will be less restraints with positive information, with loving, healing information, with the promotion of music, positive music, with the promotion of positive thoughts, affirmations, healings, and concepts relating to heightening vibration and aligning with the truth of who you are as a soul being on the planet. So a lot of the filtering will be occurring, and we'll be putting that in place. When I'm referring to we, I'm referring to us in the world of spirit, the angelic realm. We're working hard in order to remove those unnecessary amounts of content on the internet. Now, it should be free speech, obviously free flowing as you would expect, and we wouldn't want to challenge that. And so what we're doing, we're removing blocks that are stopping you from having that free speech and that entitlement to truth information, the truth vibrations and the healing content. And like we say, positive information that is needing to come forward to help humanity to ascend and grow. And to some of the information that you do hear or witness on the internet will be the truth, and it will be an unpleasant truth, an unpleasant pill to swallow, because it goes against all the narratives that you've been brought up believing since you were younger in your formative years. And so there will be an element of confliction when the truths do come out, and the evidence will be there also available in order to back the truths up. So there will be no unreasonable doubt at all that it is the truth coming forward. And these truths will cover a vast amount of topics and situations within your earth plane. It will cover your history. It will cover your media. It will cover your day-to-day living and energy and your economic
relevant. A lot of it's going to come out, but in order for us to make that work, we've got to, we've already mentioned it, we've got to bring it down for a short while of time in order for us to bring it back stronger, brighter, and also high vibrational content without the need for restrictions restricting you from expanding and growing. There's going to be an insurgence, or an insurgence even, there's a word for you, of high vibrational music that's going to come out as a result of this process. Now, the music that does come through won't necessarily be like pop music or chart music, what a lot of you are familiar with. It will talk about deeper truths. It will have codes embedded in it, ascension codes within the frequencies of the music. When you're listening to it with your ears, your soul, your physicality will also have an interactional experience. So music will no longer just be about what you hear. It will be about what you feel, what you experience, and that you will base your likes, your dislikes upon artists, upon groups, soloists, whatever your preference. You will base your preferences on how that's making you feel as a whole entire experience, rather than just what you're hearing and the imagery that these individuals, the clothing that they're wearing, the way that they look in their appearance. That's not necessarily going to matter as much as it once did in your formative years. In fact, you'll see a more honest character in your artistry, a more honest being that you wouldn't necessarily place on a pedestal just looking at them, because you'd think they was a little bit shabby round the edges, a little bit dishevelled almost. But in actual fact, you'll vibrate with them and you'll see the honesty and the truth behind their eyes, and also in their performances when you experience and encounter them. There's going to be a lot of these groups coming up, and there's going to be a lot of social events on the internet that allow these groups, soloists, individuals, in order to perform and channel their craft through to where it is needed. There's also going to be quite a few venues that specialise in allowing this secret music, this art form, to be hosted, and it won't be like your regular, shall we say, venues or social gatherings. These will have a more distinctive purpose and respect about it. There will be an intolerance of alcohol and beverages within these establishments, simply because it will have a negative impact on the physical body upon experiencing the musical performances, the energetic performances that will be performed. So it's all about heightening vibrations. It's all about connecting and receiving the download codes, the ascension codes that are coming through the music and the performances. So we wanted to tell you about that, and so be prepared and watch out for it. It's going to bring you all together. What can we say? It's going to be a melting of minds, hearts and souls, and we're so excited that there's a lot of you that are listening that do play musical instruments, that are singers, that are performers. You're going to notice a shift in the way that you are working with your craft. That's going to occur very from the get-go of 2023. You're going to notice a vast change. It's almost as if you're there witnessing your craft being performed through you, rather than you having to think about what you're doing. It's just going to work naturally. So watch out for that, and you'll enjoy it more, because you are engaged, you're a part of the performance, you're a part of the experience, but also you're witnessing it as well. You'll be able to be multifaceted almost. You'll be able to be the giver and the receiver of those treatments, those performances, whereas at Before, you was just the giver of that performance. So you see, you experience the collective. You experience it a lot better. So look out for that. We're very excited to bring this information through to you about this new change in your performance. Also with your, you could call it performing arts, such as acting, such as dancing, such as movement. Those of you that work in that fashion will also notice a change in your craft, in your art there. Channelings will occur through you. Those that act, you'll notice that your characteristics will change and you won't have to think about it. You'll be channeling higher beings through in order to bring forward that story, that narrative, that performance, that energy, that healing when you perform. Those of you that dance will also dance with ease and grace, and there'll be a movement that you won't be able to associate with that coming from your own limbs. In other words, you'll feel like you're observing again the performance and you're just flowing with the energy. You're watching it, you're observing it, yet you're creating it. You're a part of the performance at the same time, but at the same time you're not, because you're channeling that performance through. So it's going to be a mass awakening. And those of you that do perform, whether that's music or the arts or whatever, you're going to feel it first because you're high sensitive vibrational beings. And this will also tally in with what the previous communicator was saying about your emotions and feeling your sensitivity changing, and you having to have that restful state of mind and recuperation, and to be mindful about the environments that you spend your time in because of it. So be careful and put your protection up, energetically speaking, with referring to. So thank you so much for listening. We do hope this information finds you well, and you can take great solace and great healing from it, and in the knowledge that as you are progressing into the year of 2023, there's going to be some very dramatic and noticeable changes, and you will agree with me when I say they will be for the better and everybody benefits. So thank you, take care, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless.
Well, that was a wonderful communication as ever, and it was really good to learn about our emotions, sensitivity, and keeping that protection up at all times. Also very interesting, I thought, taking that time out as well for reflection and also embracing the laughter in order to heighten our vibration. What I did like also was the fact that things are preparing us for better times in 2023. So that's something that we can all look forward to, isn't it? So we're going to move on to the next segment of the show, which is your weekly energy forecast. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's energy forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for Monday, the 19th of December 2022. Now, those of you that have watched me work before will know that I interact with my spirit guides and helpers and also consult the wisdom of the angel tarot cards. So what I'm about to do now is just shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out at random for this week's energy forecast reading. And right on cue, as ever, one has just done that. So this is your card for this week's energy forecast reading. I'm now going to link into the energy of the card and also bring forward your message for this week. Well, first of all, I'm being told to withhold the desire to try and control things this week. You're going to see yourself relaxing into life a little bit more, taking the pressure off yourself and allowing yourself to go with the flow. For so long now, you've tried to control quite a lot of elements and facets within your own life and also the lives of others in a loving, caring way, you must understand. But this time, you're being encouraged to just let things be and observe and go with the natural flow of your life this week. Also, you will be aware that you, in your physical eyesight, you'll notice them going in and out of focus, and you'll be rubbing your eyes to try and get them right again, to try and get them balanced again. Now, this is nothing medical, you must understand. It's simply getting you ready for the year ahead in terms of seeing other realities in your current reality. So it's going to help you be more observant with you experiencing this shift with your vision this week. So also pay attention to the words that you are using this week. On a subconscious level, you will be letting out tells, so to speak. In other words, letting out facets of your personality that you've maybe suppressed over time and you've kept to yourself. And these are facets of your personality that are very courageous, very brave, very uplifting. And now you're finding that confidence in order for you to speak them and let people know the truth of who you are. And you'll find yourself doing that, like I say, on a subconscious level. They'll just flow through you. And so just allow and observe. Like I say, this week's going to be all about you evolving, expanding, but in a way where you're not forcing things to happen. You've just got to go with the flow and evolve naturally. You'll also observe as well a little bit of tension being removed from your shoulders as again you relax into the end of this year. Now, there's a lot of blessings coming your way. Obviously, we're going into the festive season, and with this being the case, you've got to learn to receive more than because a lot of you that are watching this are life's givers. You like to help, you like to give, you like to, if it's not anything of a materialistic thing, then it's your time, it's your energy, it's your presence. Well, this time you're being encouraged to learn to receive that gift of other people's time, their energy and their effort for yourself, and also celebrate your own successes this week in doing so as well. Things that you've taken for granted about yourself and you've maybe just shrugged off, said, oh, that's what I do. This week we'll see you actually reviewing in the back of your mind your year of 2022, what you've gone through. And also with you doing that, it's going to allow you to actually see this year as a blessing, the things that you've gone through, the challenges that you've faced, and you're still here to tell the tale, and you've learned a lot from it. So be aware of that vibration coming up to the surface this week. It's a very rewarding week for you, but you must learn to relax, go with the flow, and don't force things. Life has a way of working out when you relax into it. So I'm going to turn the card over and go over it with you. The top of the card, it says Queen of Air. So straight away, it's talking about the crown chakra. It's talking about the feminine energy, whether you're male, whether you're female. It's talking about that sensitivity, that receptivity as well. So learning to receive and paying attention to your environment with your sensitivity. Also be aware for energetic downloads coming into your crown chakra. Now, air as well represents the thinning of the veil. So between our physical reality and the non-physical, the world of energy, the world of spirit, you're going to be more aware of it this week as all that love vibration is in the air, with it being close to the festive period. Like I say, families coming together, people are thinking about one another, and so you're going to be more aware of this vibration. Also, visitors coming in from the world of spirit, your family, your loved ones, your friends up there are now going to evolve around you, and you'll start and recognize things that maybe bring back a memory link to them. Now, when this does occur, it will come from out of the blue at random, and this is simply because they're interacting with you and they're wanting you to let you know that they're fine, and they're wanting you to let you know that that connection is still there between you. So watch out for that this week. At the bottom of this card, it says brilliant, experienced, and humorous. With this being said, I feel as though it's referring to yourself and not being so hard on yourself this week, celebrating your successes of 2022, like we've just said, and also looking at what you've learned from it and how you've evolved from doing that, as this has helped your evolution, preparing you for your year of 2023. Now, humorous is also telling you to just chill a little bit, relax, have more fun. This year's been quite serious for a lot of you that are watching this. And this week's going to see you allowing that harsh exterior to just melt slightly and just have more fun, and give yourself permission to have more fun. Now, this doesn't necessarily involve alcoholic beverages or substances to enable you to do that. I just feel as though you're going to be more playful with your general day-to-day living as well. You're going to see funny sides, funny moments in situations, and rather than suppressing that humor, you're going to share it with people as well. So watch out for that. Around the edge of the card, we've got the color of blue. So that would indicate communication. It would indicate emotions as well. So like we said earlier, it's about you revealing facets of yourself that you've kept hidden from people. And people will pick up on this, and they'll really appreciate those elements of your personality coming to the foreground rather than you suppressing and hiding them anymore. So watch out for you doing that this week. Also, we've got this beautiful feminine energy there, and she's holding a sword there, and she's holding it in front of herself. Straight away, it's talking about you being sensitive. It's talking also about you cutting cords to your past, relinquishing those or releasing those binds that are holding you to situations, to people that are no longer serving you anymore. Again, preparing you for your year of 2023. Now, as you can see, she's wearing lots of blue, lots of purple there in a dress. That would indicate the world of spirit is around you as well. So you're supported whilst you're doing this. And also, with being increasingly sensitive, you're going to experience their presence around you. You're going to see, like we've already said, things that remind you of them, that connect you with them. And just be aware out the corner of your eye, seeing flashes of light and also different flashes of colour there. Now, obviously, we're in the festive season, as we keep saying today, and there's a lot of Christmas fairy lights around. But with this being the case, it is not those lights that are causing that. So it is spiritual activity. So don't be afraid. It is your loved ones, your friends and family in the world of spirit, just letting you know that they are around you, they haven't forgotten about you, and they're bringing in that love and healing and helping you every step of the way. This also indicates that there's a need for you to address your emotions as well. Speak up about them. Don't harbour any ill will. Don't hold those emotions within you, and just release that and let that go. I feel if we look at this feminine's face, she's relaxed, and she's looking calm and confident, preparing herself for next year. So that's what I'm picking up for you for this week's energy forecast reading. I hope that's aligned with you. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting and sharing. If you've enjoyed this reading and you would like a one-to-one private reading with myself or a 12-month recorded forecast reading, then you can contact me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com or find me on Facebook, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium. If you want to listen to a radio show about all things spiritual self-help, come and join me every Monday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on Pulse Talk Radio, and the show is called From Beyond with Glenn Boddice. In the meantime, have a blessed festive period. Sending all my love and blessings to you and your family. God bless and take care, and thank you. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this week's show. I hope you've learned something from the information that's been channeled through from the world of spirit, whether that was the chat at the beginning there, or whether it was the channeled section, which I always find personally very interesting upon listening and reviewing back to that. So thank you for tuning in as ever. If you have any show suggestions, any ideas, or if you'd like to share some of your spiritual or self-help experiences with the audience, and maybe you don't want to come on the show, but you're okay with me to share that, then please get in touch with me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can email me at glennboddice@live.co.uk, and it would be wonderful to hear from you and have some interaction with you in that respect. In the meantime, have a beautiful Christmas, spending all that time with your family and your friends and your loved ones, wishing you the best of the festive season and looking forward to interacting with you all very, very soon. So see me the same place, same time on pulsetalkradio.com. Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium